Hello buddy, my name is Eric, and today we're going to be talking about the situation with the guy that I've been told I sound a lot like. And now, it's impossible for me to verify this, because if you listen to your own voice, you don't hear it the same way that everyone else does, but apparently this guy is like my voice double. This is, of course, Andrew Tate. So please join my Hustlers University 2.0. We got to get into this. So, what was exactly hacked? Well, everyone calls it Hustlers University, but it's actually now called The Real World. It's all the same thing. I think it's had 3 different names, and it turned out he didn't have very good security, which makes sense, because security is for DNGs. That's dorks, nerds, and geeks. You can be none of those things by simply using a good password like password123 and realizing that this whole security thing is just for nerds and losers. But he's kind of downplaying this. He claims that it was actually just someone buying an account and scraping, which, if true, that would be called an IDOR vulnerability. That is indirect object resource. I might have the last one wrong. But basically what it is you find the internal API for a website, and then you can view other people's profiles. One way you might do this is if you're logged in and you see your user ID, bonus points if it's simply an ordinal number rather than being randomly generated, and you just try calling the same API with someone else's number. That should never work. But in a sufficiently poor design, it can. So these people are calling themselves hacktivists, which simply means people who commit cybercrime for the sake of political or like vengeance rather than to make money. So they broke in while he was streaming emergency meeting on Rumble. They accessed the platform's primary chat room and uploaded some new emojis. They uploaded the transgender flag, a feminist fist, and an AI-generated image of Tate draped in a rainbow flag, among others. They also temporarily banned some users, deleted attachments, and crashed users' clients. They obtained almost 800,000 current and former members of the university. I think it was also called university.com for a bit. The email addresses of 300,000 users and public and private chats made on the platform. Now, Andrew claims that all of the chats were intended to be public, but I assume email addresses of your users was not intended to be public. Now, this ultimately went to distributed denial of secrets, who then shared it with Have I Been Pwned? Which means if you search someone's email address on Have I Been Pwned and Hustlers University comes up, you know you're dealing with a Sigma. Also leaked some of the messages where users talked about their concerns of the LGBTQ agenda, the Matrix, and shootings. That's kind of an odd one. It's just a Matrix attack. So I thought this was I'm mainly talking about this because people have said I sound like him, but it's kind of an interesting situation. And of course, the Tate brothers are extremely controversial for the things they say and the fact that they've been involved in various alleged criminal activity, as well as just being, I think it's a whole part of their marketing strategy. I first heard of Andrew when he wrote this thread about how he had never seen Star Wars and that's why he was a multimillionaire. At that point, he didn't have Hustlers University. We can go see what that looks like right now. He actually had something called, he had cobratate.com. Oh, did I spell it wrong? Okay, here we go. Here's what I wanted. He had Cobra Tate, and he had a few courses. He had this one about getting women. It was called the PhD. And he had one about how he's making all this money by putting them in a webcam studio, which incidentally is a bit related to his charges now. So you can get your modern education. University.com updates student information every morning at 8 a.m. You get the fastest access to cutting-edge information, such as discussing the price of silver, I guess. You want leverage. No, you went leverage, brother. And then here you can become a gold king in the real world. Because, of course, in the whole Tate lore, there's the real world, and then there's the fake world, which is the world that the Matrix wants you to live in. This guy is making $2,000 an hour. Online money is a skill. Okay. Access to multimillionaires. Yeah, well, when you're selling 300,000 copies for $50 a month, yeah, you're gonna be you're definitely gonna be a multimillionaire. Making millions every month off of this. So you can enroll today, or he's even got. Is this another domain of his? No, he doesn't own jobs.com. Thought for a second he'd bought that one as well. Take a look. So we got the usual things. You can get cadet. Do you want to be a challenger? Oh, okay. It's just a longer. It's not actually a more expensive plan. Or you can be a hero. And you do get a slightly cheaper price, but nothing ridiculous. I mean, everyone does this. And my school probably does the same thing. I'm not going to give them. And let's just take a look. I don't think there's going to be anything obvious here. We'd probably have to pay if we wanted to see anything poorly designed. This all looks pretty normal. Now, if we go over to the DDO Secrets website, we can see more about how this was accomplished. We can get chat logs. Generates $5.6 million a month. Okay. The data also includes 300,000 unique email addresses that appear to belong to users who were removed after they stopped paying their subscriptions. I believe he calls that jail when they're in default of their subscriptions. You can also see a bit more on the Daily Dot. Advanced training and mentoring for about $50 a month. And here are actually all the emojis. I've actually seen these before. You have this cute fox character. You have, I think that's, oh yeah, it's him. It's him in Pride. You got the feminist fist. You got the trans flag. And that's like the only emojis they had, so they're probably all panicking. So there seems to be a debate as to whether, and they even call it hilariously insecure. So I am guessing that basically what happened here is there wasn't so much a hack as there was just no security. They simply found the end point where they were able to do these things, and they just did it. I'm not gonna download the whole thing, I don't think, because it's really not that interesting seeing chat logs from Tate's chat room, but it's just kind of funny. Really, I guess this is because it looks like the real world is a pretty custom, like they're not using existing CMS, and the risk when you do that, no matter who you are, whether you're Andrew Tate or just some Joe on the street, is you got to be a bit more careful in terms of if you're building everything from scratch. You got to test your endpoints and make sure, okay, does this work the way you're expecting it to? There's actually a bunch of great API testing tools, or if you're really into the weeds, you can just use curl. I quite like Postman. You can install an extension on Chrome that captures your requests, sends it to the Postman app, and then you can go through that and you can see, all right, these are the APIs, and then you can try fuzzing different things in them to see, okay, if we remove the authentication token, are we still able to access the information? Or can we use my authentication token for another user's account? Those are both simple things you can check for to avoid making this kind of mistake. So that's going to be all for this video. Please do like and subscribe. I'm going to go back to doing DNG things and continuing to Matrix attack. That's all from me. Bye.